Super excited for this chat today, given it's all things B2B sales and marketing online with Clutch, a company I'm fascinated by. Sergey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. We're going to dive into a lot of topics, including AI and chatbots and beyond. As VP of Development, we can dive deep. So I'm really excited to have you here. Maybe introduce yourself and how would you describe Clutch to the viewers?
So yeah, thanks for having me again. My name is Sergey Dubogarayev. I'm the VP of Development here. So I'm in charge of all development and data activities. So it's fun because data is key with AI. So it's easy having both sides of that. Clutch is the largest platform we have over 280,000 businesses listed on our platform
Wow.
and ranges from graphic design to website development, business services, with reviews that actually matter for folks when they're finding services. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. I've been here for about 9 months. Yeah.
That is fantastic. And it's a busy space, the business of B2B, online, everything, particularly reviews and the marketplace of businesses. But you've had tremendous success. So how have you been able to differentiate Clutch from, your competitors out there in various forms?
I think the amount of time that we spend in verifying reviews and businesses gives the buyers trust that they come and what they're reading is not just themselves writing it. We have an entire operations team that verifies reviews and business locations. And yes, the world has changed, so locations can be sporadic now. We've also adapted to that, but these Clutch profiles become almost like a cliff notes and a summary of something that the business loves to share with potential buyers.
Oh, I love it. It's something I wasn't aware existed until we had this call. And tell us about the breadth of services. It really is comprehensive: IT services, business services, marketing. I could use a matchmaking service here as well. You're really going after the whole B2B landscape.
So we have almost every service line, and what's cool is we'll see trends, right? So obviously in the last 12 months, I think it's almost a 400% growth in search traffic on AI, for example.
Wow.
Delved into business services from HR to accounting, if you need to hire a mobile development firm. And the best part too is that it's all sizes. We'll have enterprise multi-billion-dollar companies use us all the way down to a startup.
That is quite a task. Enterprises have pretty different requirements. So tell us, we can talk to you about AI. You're in product development. You're not just the marketing guy. No offense to your marketing colleagues, but how are you incorporating machine learning, AI, big data into the platform? I guess into matching algorithms. What is your approach?
So we've been doing AI for quite some time, as many companies have. I think what has really put AI on the map, one is the marketing folks across the world, right? AI is this big trend, but one thing that I think we've really been excited about is we have so much data that we can
Mm,
match projects for buyers on business use cases, not just location and budget. And I think that reduces the friction between a buyer and a vendor that other platforms just cannot do. And so we're excited we have a whole list of tools that we're going to be launching with AI. The way I view it from a development point is AI is kind of like a star in a movie. They're not in every
mm,
scene. They're in
mm.
some parts more than others. And I think it's just a tool, not an end. Uh, so yeah, we're excited to see where else it goes.
Yeah, I'm sure, as am I, and your customers, I bet. So let me ask you about yourself personally. This isn't your first rodeo here with AI and big data. How did you get into the space? How did you start your career path on this road?
So about 12 years ago, I started my own company called Clouder. We were the #1 private social network community platform for associations and nonprofits. So I dealt
Oh,
with
wow.
data left and right on every association you can name. There's every algorithm on the planet that, you come to find out there's 66,000 associations for everything that is in life. I exited that company 14 months ago, and there was an opportunity to do something just as creative, just as big with Clutch. And I was very excited for not only the team, but just the opportunity with how they were utilizing data, how they wanted to fit, use the buyer journey. So, and now, yeah, that's how I got here.
Yeah, the buyer's journey is an interesting one. It's changed so much over the decades. It's radically different than it is in the past. What about use cases for AI in the B2B space, in your space? What are the most exciting examples and concerns you must have as well?
So, a lot of the times features have been built to be one way for everybody. I think one of the biggest use cases now is that everyone's problem and thing they're trying to solve is different. And so how do we extract all the data that we have to match, for example, in our case, a buyer might be a non-technical CEO who doesn't know the right questions to ask, who doesn't know, what's the difference between Java and Swift, and do I do this or that? And we can actually bridge that gap and give them, both sides, the vendor and the buyer, all those tools within seconds now. And what's cool is all these tools that we're building will be dynamic for your use case. And so we're really excited about that. I think one thing, there's a few concerns right in the AI space. One is there's so much opportunity. You got to make sure that you stay on track with things that work for your business. I think there's been a lot of distractions the last 6 months for other companies, and ours included, where, what can we do? And then with all these open source models, how do we keep the legality and the biases out of it? Because once we be able to train our own models, we can input the answers we want to come out. And it's no different than what exists now on certain products, but we got to make sure that we're doing best by the buyer, by the vendor. So there's a lot of more things going into these than just technical. It's data, it's ownership, it's legality, it's, making sure we're doing the right thing.
Lots of challenges to navigate your way around. And how is the product being used? Like, maybe walk us through, a typical use case. Or is there a typical use case, or are you seeing almost, everything under the sun, given it's an open marketplace?
So there's different parts of the buyer journey. And I think we're doing different tool sets for different parts of that waterfront. For example, we launched one of our first big jumps into the AI. We launched a very, very awesome AI chatbot, where instead of filtering through location, everything, you literally talk to it and it can recommend vendors. You can talk about what your use case is, you can talk about location, whatever you do, at the end of it, you'll get recommended. That's one use case. Then maybe you're farther along the buyer journey. We have an amazing product launching this upcoming quarter, which is a project scoping tool, where you'll actually be able to scope out your whole project within seconds, just because of the use case and what you're searching, which can save buyers and vendors weeks of time. And so what we're doing is we're getting wide and different parts of the journey, incorporating AI.
That is phenomenal. I wish LinkedIn had something like this. This is an amazing set of use cases. Now, as VP of Development, I get to ask you, what's the challenges these days in incorporating new tech into your platform? You have such an array of tools and clouds and components. How do you stay on top of all that and sort of take a, delivering service product as well?
I think from a technical standpoint, my answer won't be technical, because with the steep learning curve of AI, it goes cross-divisional. So the things that I want to accomplish on the technical side, we have to have buy-in from marketing. We have to have buy-in from other departments. And so there's a continuous need for upskilling the team, how we collect the data. We got to make sure we store it. Are we compliant with legal? And so what's been actually exciting, and I think Clutch's culture has just been collaborative since day one, since I've been here. It's everyone has bought in that this could be part of our journey, and that's made it actually easier. But that is a challenge, right? Because you have to have so many different stakeholders involved, and we have great leadership. Our CEO and our board are very adamant that this is part of our journey. So yeah, I think that's one of the challenges that some companies might face, is just buy-in cross-divisionally.
Yeah, that buyer's journey, back to that again, completely changed. And I was browsing the Clutch.co website as we were talking, it's a beautiful site. You obviously put a lot of work into user interface and user experience. Do you think Gen AI and like the chatbot and other use cases is going to change a lot? Does it offer opportunities to simplify? What do you think? What's the direction of this whole user experience looking forward?
What's fun about user experience with generative AI is there have been no books written about it. There have been no one learned this. And so what's cool about the community now is that there's a lot of cross collaboration between companies and people and experts that how do we drive new user interfaces that use generative AI? And so a lot of it is still testing and launching and seeing how the data works. But I think the UX and UI long term will become more kind of interactive and anticipatory. So my goal is that the interface will be dynamic and anticipate what a user wants, because then we can give them kind of what they're looking for. And I think driving design towards that is hard, but I think there's some exciting opportunity there.
Indeed. And you have so much data and insight, analytics. You must notice a lot about trends and opportunities in the B2B space. Do you care to share any, or is that your secret sauce? I mean, we're seeing remote work, change, hybrid work. Of course, globalization continues. You must see a lot of trends that present opportunities for you, but also your customers, your clients.
We definitely see trends on how people hire B2B. So whereas before it might have been very centralized to a location, now, post-COVID world is much more global. So not diving into something specific, but people hire from all around the world, whether it's internal, third-party vendors. We see a lot of trends on which markets are moving up in search. So we'll see, obviously, AI is a big one, but web development, how people search for certain marketing companies. So the trends actually give us insight into how we should portray vendors on the directory, because at the end of the day, our reviews are not paid. Like, we are a non-biased and completely verified review source. So we want buyers to understand that what they're seeing is, a vendor can't just go in there and pay for an awesome review, which in turn gives the buyer confidence that if we match it with a great user experience, they're getting a vendor. Because sometimes hiring a vendor is not the most expensive thing for a buyer. It's hiring the wrong one. And so we try to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's impressive. And it is a global platform. So I can go in and find a developer in Indonesia today, right? And how do you manage that reach with all the different, legal and regulatory requirements, different countries, borders? That must be a topic as well.
Yeah, we just have AI robots do it all.
Sure. What could go wrong?
No, we have a great operations team. We have a global team as well. So they all focus on different areas. Obviously, certain legal things are different in Poland versus Canada versus the United States or Indonesia or India. But we have vendors all around the world. And, sometimes they're also our partners. So some of our biggest clients will actually help us and guide us on like how we should structure certain things. So yeah, I think it's just a collaborative effort.
That's fantastic. And you must hear lots of anecdotes and success stories of successful matches, not to compare it to a dating app, but there must be a lot of business transacted on the platform. Do you track that sort of thing? It's pretty impressive to see.
So one thing that we love is talking to our clients and also tracking attribution to, projects that they get. We've had a few larger clients. One was Hatchworks, which is like a digital transformation agency. I think they joined late 2018. And I think from what they paid Clutch, they've had a 650% increase in ROI just in projects in the first year. And so it also depends, we have a great account management team that will make sure you're placed on the right service lines. You can't just go buy random service lines just to advertise, because we want to make sure that the buyers also have a great experience. We have another client, Belkins, which is a lead generation agency. And I remember speaking with them that 150 of their current most loyal clients came from Clutch's website. And so at the end of the day, in a marketplace, both sides have to win. The buyers have to understand that they're getting value, but so do the vendors. And so we want to make sure that they connect with the correct buyers, they have long-term clients, and then it's just a relationship that works for everybody.
That is phenomenal. Well, it sounds like I have to sign up at clutch.co. There's both as a opportunity to sell myself as well as find some interesting contractors. So what's next for Clutch over the next whatever period of time you can share? You must have a lot on your roadmap, on your plate, as it were.
So I think as a business, we're always looking to expand. We're hyper growth, so new business lines. We're expanding heavily in business services. But to match that growth, we also have to evolve the product. And so AI is just not helping externally, but internally as well, operationally, development-wise. The roadmap also is going to be focused on giving buyer more tools to assess projects. So right now, if you go to the website, you can go to the vendor, you can read all of their things, but we're adding tools where you can generate scopes of work. You can communicate back with the vendor. You can shortlist your vendors and ask them all the same questions and message back on the platform. So we want to give them all the tools to do it there as easy as possible. And, some buyers might take it offline. That's completely fine. But we want to be able to give those people who want to maintain all of that on Clutch to be able to do so.
That's phenomenal. You're based in the DC area. It looks like your headquarters is there.
Yep.
How have you navigated the distributed work challenge that you help customers with? Do you have developers around the world? What's your setup, as it were?
So we have a large team in DC, but we also have a large team base in Colorado, in Eastern Europe, in Poland, in the Pacific Islands. And so we are distributed across the world. And, sometimes the distributor workforce lets you hire the best folks because you're not tied to one location. And so, DC is a competitive market and there's a lot of great folks, but we don't get them all. And so there's a lot of opportunity to, the way we built our business is a lot of the ways that we also run and help others, on the platform.
That's great. Well, I think that's the future of work for sure. So we're into September. It's hard to believe already. Anything you're looking forward to personally, professionally, travel-wise? Anything coming up with you or the team?
So we have a lot of team outings coming up for Clutch, but personally, I'm a very, very big football fan. So the football, unfortunately, a Washington Commanders fan for now, but maybe we'll
You got the Ravens down the road. Come on, you easily jump on that bandwagon.
But, I know I'm just one of those hopeful optimists. But yeah.
Good stuff. Well, it's great to chat. I learned a lot in what you're doing. This isn't a paid promotion here. I am going to sign up. I think there's tremendous opportunities on both sides of the equation. So thanks, Sergey. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thanks everyone for joining. Reach out to Clutch with any questions you can have. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it.